The mind-object identity hypothesis. An OTA perspective on why interiority and thought are myths that prevent us from understanding ourselves. Odam Tili. Introduction. Why we misunderstand ourselves. Humanity's greatest illusion is not religious, political, or scientific. It is interiority, the belief that the mind exists inside us, that thinking is something happening in a hidden, private inner chamber. From an OTA viewpoint, rooted in empirical phonosemantics, embodied cognition, and sensory origin linguistics, this illusion is not harmless. It disconnects humans from the very world that produces them. The mind-object identity hypothesis, emerging from long-term Odam Tili research, makes a radical claim. There is no inside. There is no private mental chamber. What we call mind is simply our relation to the objects that form the world. This hypothesis reverses 2,500 years of Western metaphysics and places the human being back into the real physical universe, where he belongs. The OTA foundation, language as physics of the world. Dr. Mahmudjon Kucharov's Odam Tili theory proves that sounds came from physical interactions, tree branches, water flow, snake hiss, object shapes. Words were originally not internal concepts, but direct mappings to objects and actions. Sound, shape, meaning. Thus, the earliest language was not thought, but object-driven perception. Consciousness is not internal software. It is the sum of our relations to external physical forms. In this view, mind is not a container. It is a dynamic interface between organism and environment. Why interiority is a myth. Western philosophy invented interiority to explain subjective experience. But OTA analysis shows this assumption is structurally wrong. Interiority fails because no one has ever detected inner thoughts physically. Neuroscience maps signals, patterns, activations, not thoughts themselves. All mental content is derived from outside objects. Without the world, there is no body. Without the body, no senses. Without senses, no sounds. Without sounds, no language. Without language, no thought. Thus, what we call thought is simply the echo of the world within us. The brain is not a storage unit. It is a transformer of sensory data. Interiority is a metaphor, not a mechanism. The myth of thought. Why thinking is not an inner activity. People say, I think, I imagine, I have ideas. But these statements misrepresent what actually happens. OTA analysis reveals, thought is not internal. It is relational. A thought exists only in contact with an object, a pattern, a sound, a shape, a memory created through physical interaction. Remove the objects and thought disappears. In this sense, thought equals object plus organism plus relation. There is no pure thought without the world. The mind-object identity hypothesis. Core claim. To exist is to be in structural identity with the objects that surround and shape you. Mind is the active form of this identity. In other words, you are not a thinker observing objects. You are a process formed by these objects. When a snake hisses, a human hears the sound. When water flows, a human hears the sound. When a branch snaps, a human hears the sound. The world creates the acoustic building blocks that later become language. Language becomes the map of the world embedded into the human nervous system. Thus, mind equals the world structure written into the organism. There is no separation. There is only continuity. Why this changes everything. This hypothesis dissolves the false dualism of inner versus outer. You are not inside yourself. You are a node in the world's web. It exposes the philosophical error in cognitive science. Brains do not generate representations. They extract patterns from interactions with physical reality. Provides a new model for AI alignment. AI must be built not as internal symbol machines, but as object relational processors. This is the essence of Odam AI. It restores human dignity and clarity. Once we stop believing in interiority, we stop isolating ourselves. We become participants in the world, not spectators. Implications for consciousness. According to this hypothesis, consciousness is not self-generated. Consciousness is not localized. Consciousness is not private. Instead, consciousness is the shape of our engagement with the objects that make our world possible. This means a person is not a container of experiences, but a living equation of forces, forms, and relations. Final insight: you are the world thinking through itself. The myth of interiority collapses. The myth of self-contained thought collapses. What remains is the simple truth. You are the objects that shape your mind, experiencing themselves from a particular angle. The stone, the tree, the snake, the water, they gave birth to your sounds, your meanings, your language. You are not separate from them. You are their continuity. This is the foundation of the mind-object identity hypothesis. This is the essence of Odam Tili. Follow the official channel at youtube.com/@Mahmudjon Kuchkarov 3469.